Welcome back to Backyard Ballistics. Since I recently found this old box of 4.55 Webley Mark I cartridges, and since it is probably the oldest original ammunition I have, made somewhere between 1891 and 1897, I thought that it would have been interesting shooting some of them and seeing how they perform 120 years later. I'm also taking the opportunity to show you this nice revolver, a Smith & Wesson 4.55 Mark II hand ejector, manufactured from 1915 to 1917 mostly for the British military in order to complement their domestic Webley revolver production. Keep in mind that I have a technical background, not a historical one, so I would really appreciate if some of you could comment with some additional historical facts. Anyway, let's take a look at the ammo. As you can see, the box is not full, so I don't think there's anything wrong in trying a few out. The first interesting fact is that these are Mark I 4.55s, and as such they should be loaded with black powder. They started using smokeless propellants in 1894, but the cases had a C stamped on them, which stood for cordite. The complete transition to smokeless was made in 1897 with the Mark II version, which had a shorter case length that remained the standard for all the subsequent iterations. Considering the age of this stuff, I am sure the primers are long dead, so if I want to shoot them I need to transfer the load to another case with a new primer. Also, I'm not sure if my revolver is able to chamber the longer Mark I cases, since it was made almost 20 years after they were abandoned. On top of the charge we have a very old style lead bullet, hollow base with some lubrication grooves in the part that is normally covered by the case. As I expected, they are loaded with about 15 to 16 grains of black powder. It also looks like a little bit of it is stuck at the bottom of the case. I am transferring the contents of 5 of them in some new brass, but I had to disassemble a total of 7, since 2 of them had the powder really clamped together, mainly at the base of the case. It looks like some moisture might have gone through from the primer pocket during the years. For the reloading, I am using this lovely die set made in England by a one-man company called North Devon Dies. Unfortunately, when the bloke died, the company shut down permanently. Anyway, in order to keep the same powder space, I seated the bullets to the same overall length of the original loads I've pulled apart, and here's a comparison showing the 5 cartridges I prepared and an original one. You can also see the difference between the well-preserved cases and the moist one. Now let's go to the range and see what they can do. I'm going to shoot 3 rounds on target at 25 meters and shoot the other 2 over the chronograph to see if there has been a reduction in velocity from what was advertised back then. Think that the black powder I'm burning was made before the parents of any single one of you were born.
That gun's gonna need a damn good clean. Yeah.
And to be honest, I wasn't expecting that good of a result. I was probably a little bit lucky, but it's definitely not bad for 120 years old ammunition. I still had to measure the velocity, so I went back and shot over the chronograph, which read 191 and 199 meters per second. While 2 rounds are not enough to speak about consistency, the velocity obtained is pretty much the same that these loads were advertised for. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little video and stay tuned for the next one, it is almost ready. If you don't want to miss videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time, bye.